We step out into.
The only thing I'll add is for him, I don't know if divine for Land, he thinks this deity or entity, as he calls it, is more Lovecraftian. It's a pure nightmare. We can't even begin to process it. It's not like anything divine in the way that we would think of Christ or Allah or some as divine. It's a complete Lovecraftian nightmare that we can't begin to process.
I still think that the way he describes it, it's too risky. Because if
he does think it's just going to refine its intelligence and it's almost like surplus intelligence, just more and more. It's just going to get better and better, more consistent.
Okay,
it's going to refine its own algorithms.
Here is what does he mean by intelligence? Because my basic point in my Hegel and the Wire Brain book is that if there is, and I ask this question many theorists with whom I'm in regular contact, I have my strange connections with quantum physicists, with artificial intelligence theorists. Yeah. And my big question, one of the big questions to them is precisely this one. How that obviously his representation of artificial intelligence is Deleuzian.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
It means
he bases it on desiring production and machinic unconscious.
Yeah, but I think that again, here my Freudian approach enters. Unconscious is simply a meaningless term without subjectivity. Because for Freud, unconscious is not some basic flux without subject and so on. What Freud calls unconscious is unconscious formations, fantasies, and so on are answers, replies to a certain deadlock which characterizes the rise of the subject. So all these descriptions, infinite flux, no border, no longer human, blah, blah, for me still remain fantasies. Fantasies in the sense of avoiding a certain break. My counter answer would have been, we don't know if this will happen. I don't think it will happen. Why doesn't he draw the conclusion that we are already there?
Well, I'll tell you why, because he has a teleological concept of time. He thinks the future is more real than the present moment is, and that the future is actually, I mean, you're one of the great thinkers of retroactivity, but he takes it not as a quilting point, we change the past because we re-symbolize it. There's something in him, he's taken like a literal physical retro-causality, like this thing exists out in the future and it's time traveling or sending influential retro causes back in time to affect. I know, but
now we are coming. I like this very much to even more fundamental. Let's call them naively. I don't like this term. Metaphysical questions. I remain here a Hegelian materialist. Let me explain this crazy notion. When Hegel says, I quoted this at least 10 times. When Hegel says how philosophy can only grasp a certain Lebensgestalt, figure of life, social order, when it enters its decline. And I think that I agree with Land. Yes, the representation of human being that is now endangered with artificial intelligence is something disintegrating today. But what he Land projects into the future as this, okay, let's not use godlike, but this infinite abyss, maybe not.
It's entity with a capital E, the entity.
Yeah. I think that this is a strict, again, projection, fantasy formation on the gap in our situation here, which is already here.
Could you say that Deleuze and Guattari even do this at the end of Anti-Oedipus with their image of the new earth, which it's like, oh, we have a form of desire that's not neurotic, it's not based on the signifier law, it's not caught up with any of that.
Exactly. I think that this is why we don't have time to enter it, but this is why I think that Anti-Oedipus is arguably the worst book that they wrote. I much prefer difference and repetition, logic of sense, than maybe their last book is a little bit better, Introduction to Philosophy or what.
What about 1,000 Plateaus?
Sorry?
What do you think about 1,000 Plateaus? Where do you put that?
A little bit better. It's already a little bit better than that lower point of Anti-Oedipus. You know how I would read Deleuze and Guattari, especially Deleuze? In Anti-Oedipus, Oedipus is defined as the agent of territorialization, retotalizing, whatever. But read his own logic of sense, where towards the end, Oedipus is introduced precisely as an unlocatable outcast. Deleuze is, for me, a wonderful example of something that holds for many great thinkers. Their big moment is not at the end. It can be at the beginning, in the middle, or where, for example, as I repeatedly tried to show with Schelling. So what I would say again, but let's not lose time, with Nick Land, we cannot do direct revolution, but the only way to lay the foundation for it is to do what you are doing to move the underground. It's a theoretically correct title.
Welcome to Theory Underground, where workers with earbuds can find genuine liberation from necessity.
Research at Theory Underground focuses on what is most important for understanding our current situation: theory of the subject, capital, time-energy theory, critical media theory, CMT, and the most essential critiques necessary for understanding why the theory, ideology, and common sense of influencers left to right misses the mark.
Theory Underground is a publishing house as well as lecture course and social media platform.
You've been reading Underground Theory.
Yes.
And
amazing book. I'm a publisher and an editor. I run and review of books. Literally, it's my living. This is the best edited collection I've ever read.
Jesus Christ.
Seriously.
This is a little experiment in what I, David McKerracher, can pull off without relying on the academy or the algorithmic dictates of the attention economy. I believe that I am, like so many others, pioneering a future in which educators can form learning webs that will make learning as a way of life enjoyable and emancipatory. However, before these tools become accessible, they have to be experimented with. That's why I built my own website and app using nothing more than my own saved wages, 5 patrons, and some small classes of students over the last year. Of course, I also have had my wife Anne's moral support and help with accounting so that I don't get in trouble with the IRS or whatever. In less than a year, Theory Underground has already put out 8 courses, 2 books. One, my book, Timenergy, and the other, Underground Theory, which has over 30 contributors, including works written by students at Theory Underground, some of my fellow travelers, and colleagues in the broader universe of Underground Theory. Beyond the books and courses, though, you will also find interviews, reading exegetical reaction sessions, and live weekly events for working class autodidacts, independent researchers, and renegade academics. These include a variety of clubs and cohorts that meet on a weekly or monthly basis. If you want to get involved, there are 4 main subscription levels.
Think of it like a gym membership, but for your mind.
The point is to make learning, practice, and theoretical comprehension a way of life. If I can triple my subscribers in the next 2 months, I can quit my gig at Amazon and focus on this work full time. All I need is a few more people at each of the levels, or a couple big-time patrons who just want to see it happen. Right now I am doing a patron and site subscriber drive, so excuse the commercial. But if you end up really liking what goes on at this channel, consider signing up soon. I hope that you either will or have enjoyed the program, and also make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and leave this playing in the background all the time while you're doing other things.
Playing long-form Theory Underground content in the background while you do things has, in the near future, been scientifically proven to emancipate minds from the functional illiteracy imposed on workers by the structural stultification of time energy. This is achieved by reterritorializing circumspective concern.
Also, to some degree, it is for the algorithm.